Hello and welcome to Mountain Cat News. I'm Cristin Lyons.
And I'm Heather Yeager, here with this week's top stories. A trailer park in St. Petersburg, Florida has some surprising new residents. Find out who they are in a moment. A convicted murderer who has escaped from prison 35 years ago was found alive and well in Tennessee. More on this story in a few minutes. TV personality Stephen Colbert has announced that he will be running for President of the United States in South Carolina. We'll have this more later in the show.
Sorry. Sex offenders finally have a place to call home, a haven, they say. The Palace Mobile Home Park, a low-income trailer park community near St. Petersburg, Florida, welcomes convicted felons, as 95 of the 200 residents are just that. A resident named Michael says, "In here, it's our own little piece of paradise. We're safe here." New laws across the country limit where sex offenders can live, often banning them from complexes near playgrounds, schools, and bus stops. Over 600 sex offenders have lived in the community of the Palace, said manager Nancy Moraes. Residents are also given the opportunity to take place in therapy to help them adjust to being in society again. Rent is $400 a month, including utilities, and most offenders have roommates. But some residents of the trailer park do not feel safe in their community. One woman ensures her grandchildren do not visit her on the premise. So far, only one offender who has lived there has reoffended, according to authorities. That man tried to set up a photo shoot with a child on the property. One of his neighbors, a fellow sexual offender, turned him in.
DelVecchio, and this is your Mountain Cat Sports. Men's soccer. The Mountain Cats recorded their first loss since September 22nd, losing both to Davison Elkins and Wheeling Jesuit. The loss to Davison Elkins was caused by 2 penalty kicks surrendered by the Mountain Cats. In the Wheeling Jesuit game, Eric Meisler was the lone goal scorer for the Mountain Cats, and Craig Neff faced 20 shots. The men are now 8-5-2 overall and 3-3-2 in the region. The Mountain Cats will face Ohio Valley University on Saturday at home and Point Park University at Wednesday at home. Women's soccer. The Lady Cats went 1-2 this week, winning their first game against Salem International 4-0, but losing their next 2 matches against Concord 3-0 and Shepherd 4-3. Lindsey Plowman scored a pair of goals against Salem International, while Falcon and Babick also chipped in a goal. In the game against Shepherd, Cristin Kelly scored a pair, but it wasn't enough due to the 4 goals scored by Jennifer Hoffman. They will play Ohio Valley on Saturday, Seton Hill on Monday, and Charleston on Wednesday. Volleyball. The Lady Cats volleyball lost to Charleston 1-3 and swept Shepherd. Casey Jo Rittenhauer had 8 kills in the match against Shepherd to help the Lady Cats improve to 9-11 on the year. Their next 2 matches will be at home on Friday. They will face Charleston on Saturday, and they will face West Virginia Tech. And their 3rd match will be played away on Tuesday at Shepherd. NASCAR. For the 2nd week in a row, Jeff Gordon came out with another victory, this time at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Clint Boyer was the runner-up, and Jimmy Johnson finished 14th. Jimmy Johnson is 68 points behind Gordon in the Nextel Cup standings, and Boyer is close behind with 78 points. The next race will be at Martinsville Speedway this Sunday. Well, that's all, folks. The Colorado Rockies have done the impossible. They have won their past 21 out of 22 games, made it to the World Series for the first time in franchise history, and they're the only team to go 7-0, making it a perfect month for October. The World Series will start next week on the 24th. As for the American League, the Tribe has one game left to win against Boston Red Sox to advance to the World Series. They will play Game 5 tonight at Jacobs Field with CC Sabathia and Josh Beckett on the mound. The Red Sox can hold off the Tribe tonight, and they will face them at Fenway Park in their last 2 games on the 20th and the 21st. The Steelers, coming off their bye week, will face the Denver Broncos at Mile High Stadium on Sunday. Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, and Troy Polamalu are probable to start on Sunday. I'm predicting yet another Steeler victory, I'll say by a spread of 17 points. The Eagles will face the struggling Chicago Bears on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles defeated the Jets last week 16-9 with the win this week. The Eagles will be back at 500. Oh yeah, the Steelers were not below 500 yet the entire year. Last week, Adrian Peterson rushed for 224 yards against the vicious Chicago Bear defense. He set a franchise record with the most rushing yards in a game. Will he do the same against the Ravens? He better not, because I got the Ravens defense on my fantasy team. With a much-needed win against the Big Ten rival Wisconsin, the Nittany Lions will face Indiana this week. The Panthers will face number 10 Cincinnati and will probably get demolished, so don't even bother to tune into the game on Saturday. It's a waste of time. The Gwins lost a heartbreaker to the New Jersey Devils on Wednesday night with two very controversial calls that would have given Crosby and gang the win. However, they won on Saturday against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They will face Carolina on Friday, Washington on Saturday, the Rangers on Tuesday, and the Toronto Maple Leafs again on Thursday. Former running back for the Penn State Nittany Lions, Austin Scott, pleaded not guilty for charges on sexual assault and felony rape. He was suspended from the team on October 5th, and he will remain in school while fighting these charges. Happy trails to Joe Torre. He turned down the Yankees' offer of a one-year, $5 million contract deal. He was with the organization for 12 years and won 4 pennants with them. He will be greatly missed by all Yankee fans. Lord Stanley, the Stanley Cup made a rare appearance at the UPJ campus in mid-afternoon on Thursday. It was set up at the Student Union, and if you were lucky enough, you were able to get your picture with the infamous trophy. I was one of those lucky people. The cup will be at the War Memorial on the 20th anniversary of the Johnstown Chiefs. That is all for your sports. Back to the studio.
Federal prosecutors dismantled a major international drug trafficking operation Tuesday, charging 18 airline workers with helping smuggle heroin and cocaine through John F. Kennedy International Airport. The plot was uncovered after a 2-year investigation during which federal agents seized more than 46 kilograms of cocaine, 25 kilograms of heroin, and 3 kilograms of MDMA, also known as ecstasy. In addition to drugs, the defendants were also smuggling cash. Authorities said the trafficking scheme was organized and headed by Henry Polanco, 31, who ran the operation out of Washington Heights section of New York. Polanco, the complaint alleged, arranged for drug suppliers in the Dominican Republic to provide him with large quantities of cocaine and heroin and rely on corrupt employees of JFK to get the drugs into the U.S. Authorities used telephone wiretaps to identify the suspects and interrupt the operation. Each face a maximum sentence of life imprisonment and a $4 million fine.
A deadly drug-resistant strain of bacteria has turned up in high schools across the country, killing a teen in Virginia Monday. New research has found MRSA is responsible for more deaths per year than HIV/AIDS. Cases of the deadly bacteria have turned up in Ohio, Connecticut, Maryland, and Michigan. The bacteria is that of Staphylococcus, one of the most common causes of infection, but is fatal because no drugs are able to treat it. If you see a skin infection that looks like the redness is getting bigger, or if it's associated with a lot of swelling around the wound, or if the individual has a fever, those are reasons to definitely seek doctor's attention. Practicing regular hygiene can prevent the infection, and it is important to seek treatment right away.
Stick around after the break for much more of your Mountain Cat news.